What is going on, everybody? Brent Abel here, goldballhunting.com. That dude over there, the great Jeff Jacklich. And another episode of the Gold Ball Hunting Podcast. Guys, today we're going to follow up on what we promised we were going to talk about yesterday, which is a little epiphany I had playing against a certain volleyer in singles. So, guys, hang in there with us to the end of this episode, because I think you're going to dig, as in love, what we got to chat about today. So the big question is this: how are tennis players like us who never played in the tour, weren't incredible juniors, or maybe got a late start to the game, how do we consistently compete at our highest skill level without having to grind through endless hours of on-court practice time and still be in the hunt for victory match after match? That is the question, and Gold Ball Hunting gives you the answers by helping you eliminate your skill level range so that you build a strong foundation of confidence. My name is Brent Abel, and along with my biz partner, Jeff Jacklich, welcome to Gold Ball Hunting. All right, guys, listen again. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Another episode of the Gold Ball Hunting episode. Today's number 278, Jeff. We're less than 100 away from 365.
Whew.
Who would have thunk?
Gosh. And I'm not even winded yet.
Well, okay, that remains to be seen. I'm sure guys, listen, we really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. And I know that some of you have been with us from episode number uno, which obviously 278 days ago. So we really, really appreciate it. And, back then we were kind of focused on, well, who are the players that we really want to help? And, we've really kind of pared it down a little bit, kind of the way our philosophy is on teaching, right? I mean, our job is to really kind of take stuff away from players in terms of technique and in terms of all of the possibilities out there on the court. And, boy, I sure, Jeff, I remember vividly the day when Mr. Stowe, he kind of warned me. I don't know if that's the right word, but he just said, you better be doing this when you're teaching, Mr. Abel. And that is, do not be adding layers to them, right? Is, in fact, you got to be so good at looking at your students and seeing what it is they're doing that you actually need to take away. You need to pare away.
Yeah.
Because most players are right there, they're ripe, they're ready to have just the essential fundamentals. And then he'd also go, remember a few weeks ago, Mr. Abel, when you were doing that little flare on top of there with a racket prep and the forehand grounding? Yeah, I remember that. Remember what I told you? Don't ever do that again? Yeah, I remember that. Okay, well, that's what we're talking about here. So it's kind of like when we started off, we were talking about those three groups of players that we were trying to help. Number one were the tournament players, guys and gals. They're in tournaments. They do local, regional, national, wherever, ITF senior, but getting stuck at a certain round. I mean, it literally could be the first round, right? You're just not getting out of the first round. But we've also got some students, and you've actually got some on-court coaching students, gold ballers, who are who have won gold balls, but they want to win more.
They want to win more. They want to get a little more efficient, as they're aging up into new brackets, new age brackets. They're finding that, certain strategies don't work as effectively. So we're kind of tweaking, we're tweaking it a little bit. Not necessarily stroke production, a little bit of that. We tweak things a little bit, but, tweak things in pattern work, in developing a new shot, maybe both sides for the drop shot. Maybe they used to just be comfortable on one side. Now we got to get comfortable on both. So it could be anything. But yeah, these are gold ballers that have won gold balls, national titles, multiples, and stacks of them, and they want to get better.
Yeah. Yeah, and on the other end of if you guys have never won a ball, right? You can win a bronze. Get third place, you can win the silver, lose in the finals, you can obviously get the gold. But
I don't have my gold yet.
You'll get there. You'll get
I'm
there.
getting there though. I'm in the hunt.
You can take one of my bronzes and just kind of gold it, and you can have it. I'll
I'll
just
have
give
it
it to you.
plated.
Yeah.
I'll have it plated.
Yeah, yeah. And be sure that when you win that first gold ball, you don't get so excited you go out and, hey, would you bronze this for me, please? No, Jeff, let's keep it. But really, so guys, tournament players who are just really trying to get into the hunt there for that next round or two, and then league players who really want to move up to that next rating label, right? So, and it could be you're a 2.5, you're just getting cooking in the game of tennis, right? And the next one's a 3.0. Well, a 2.5 to 3.0 is not like oh ho hum big deal. It's work, right? And every one of these new rating labels takes work, and it takes well, I'll tell you what it takes in just a second. But the other group that we used to talk about a lot were kind of the Wednesday night brew crew. And I think that we need to really sort of redefine that group, because we're really looking for those players, even if you're not playing tournaments or you're not playing leagues, but somewhere your results are getting made public. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Where in tournaments, obviously, they're getting made public online, and same thing with league. All the stuff is public. But it could be that, that whatever reason, you don't have time to play tournaments, you don't have time to play leagues, you're working like a dog out there, you got a great career going, you got a young family going, you got a couple, 2 or 3 young kids at home under the age of 7. And I'm going, oh my God. I do remember that, and I just go, all right. I'm somehow going to go. I'm somehow going to work my way through this. I'm not sure how, but I see that other people have. But so I get that. And your tennis is limited, but one way, if you really want to play some better tennis, is to make your results public. And Jeff, you kind of hit on something yesterday, I thought, after we were done recording, where we were kind of joking about, well, yeah, you got to put it up on Facebook. Well, yeah, you got to write it on the blackboard. And then I don't know if you've had the time to kind of figure out what the logistics might be, but even if you haven't, I think we can kind of tee it up here. But look, that's the way to get serious about becoming a better player. And so I think what we're trying to say is, those are the players we're working for. I mean, trying to work with. We're really not a good fit for just the pure social player. And I'm not disrespecting that group, because there's a lot of players that's what they want to do with the game of tennis. It's great exercise, it's great social, nice to get outside, enjoy the day. But there's really not a fit for us to be able to do some private one-on-one coaching with that group of players. But look, if you want to hang out with Gold Ball Hunting, absolutely, we love it. We're glad you're here. But really, the offer that we make every time is we'd love to see if there's a fit for some private coaching. And really, the keys to getting better at tournaments, getting through the next rounds, the keys to that rating label in leagues, and the keys to putting those things up there, whether it's on Facebook or if it's on wherever it is, at the clubhouse, on the blackboard. 2 things. Number 1, video. Video. All the books, all the stuff, all the YouTube garbage, all the baloney out there that is trying to get you the quick fix ain't going to happen. And so the key is 2 things. Number 1 is video. Seeing yourself on video, and number 2 is getting that video analyzed by a professionale. And we'd like to be your partners in crime in terms of the professionales for you. A lot of teaching pros out there do not understand the quote unquote senior game.
Yeah, I'd say a lot, a whole lot.
And so. And like some of that's not really their fault, right, Jeff? I mean, that's kind of the way they were raised. They were raised basically on let's grip and rip from the baseline, and that's how we play. But if you're 50 plus, I'm sorry, that's not what's winning gold balls. And we were joking yesterday about And by the way, guys, we will get to my epiphany about returning serve against the serve volley. Don't let me forget that, Jeff. I just lost my train of thought.
Yesterday's.
Well, we talked about a bunch of stuff yesterday. Well, I'll tell you what, it may come back to me. So, in the meantime, I know what we're talking about. We're talking about how guys go on YouTube and they watch the Jimmy Parkers and the Brian Cheneys and these other top, dominating age group guys. They watch the anyone in any age group who's
Right.
really kind of the numero uno, and they look at them on video and they go, "What's the deal with Jimmy Parker?
Yeah.
What's the
What's
big
the big
deal?"
deal?
and you kind of go, okay. So if you don't know what the deal is, and you're going to your coach, and your coach is kind of going, "I'll tell you, I don't see anything. I mean, look, why don't we just do this and boom, we can. I think we can take Jimmy Parker down, no problem." And so you go out there and grind through whatever that coach tells you to do. And the next thing you go out there and, you went around and now you're on the court with Jimmy Parker and you're kind of going, wow. I guess
12 games later.
12 games later. Hey, nice to meet you. It's until you're on the court with this guy or any of these top guys, if you're thinking that by watching video on YouTube is like, what's the deal with this? What's the big deal? There is a big deal. There is a big deal.
There is a big deal.
Yeah.
It's
Anyway.
a big deal.
Anyway, guys, so look, I mean, if you're in that group where you are competing in tournaments or leagues or whatever, and you want to get some serious boots on the ground, Jeff Jacklich, boots on the ground, coaching to deal with what's real.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. Deal with what's real.
Deal with what's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We want to help you get there. And the way to do that is start off with a 10, 12, 15-minute private free coaching call with just three of us, you, me, and Jeff. We get on the phone. And let's chat about where you're at with your game, where you want to take it. And let's see if Jeff and I can't start you off on the path of, well, here's the one thing that maybe you ought to be starting with. The way to do that, go over to goldballhunting.com, drop in a first name and email address, click the button, and you will get access to our online calendar scheduler. You can cherry pick a date and time that works best for you. Not for us.
Click it.
Not for us. We're here to serve. So, Jeff, we finished up yesterday's episode, which was kind of part two on you worked, today is Friday, you worked, was it Tuesday?
It was Tuesday.
It was Tuesday with a great guy, just a cool guy. And I know I've known the guy. In fact, I played him in a tournament earlier this year, the Pacific Coast tournament in Berkeley in May. I've known the guy for a while. And he's a tough 4-5 lefty. And that was the first time you'd met him. And,
right.
And I knew that you guys would just hit it off. And so we sort of followed up the next day, Wednesday, and then yesterday, Thursday, with kind of part one and part two about really what's missing with so many players is, and again, this guy's a 4-5, maybe a 4-5 plus, left-handed player, good athlete. I mean, really good athlete.
Really good athlete, yeah.
And your takeaway was, God, that guy's got every shot in the book. He's got the toolbox. It's loaded. In fact, I can't even shut the toolbox because it's just got things sticking out of it.
Beautiful classic lefty rolls forehand.
Yes.
Just classic, just beautiful.
So I asked you, I said, how was your lesson? And he said, oh, man, I loved it. It was great. I said, well, what was the one takeaway that you had in terms of how you could best help him? And he said, I got to show you how to, quote unquote, play the game. And play the game is completely different than thinking of tennis, whether it's singles or whether it's doubles, as purely a stroke technique, building, getting better and better and better at that. And that is what helps you get the W more often. That's what's going to help you get to the next round of tournaments. That's what's going to help you get to that next rating label. In league stuff. And the truth of the matter is that's just, it couldn't be further from the truth.
Right.
The missing element that you and I talked about the last couple of days was really after you play the shot, whatever shot it is, where should you move? Where's the next best court position, depending on where you've either intentionally or unintentionally hit your shot? And if you hit a shot intentionally or unintentionally, and you stand around and kind of wait, now you don't know how to play the game. I mean, that's
right.
That's basically it. So
you're the blind spot is the either missed opportunity or the missed adjustment. And boy, you know what? I think I need to back off here, or you know what? I think I need to move forward here. I mean, those are two off the the result of the ball that you hit. And I think that's one of the lacking elements for a lot of players that get stuck in their level is that ability to monitor and adjust. What did I actually deliver? Not what I hope to deliver, but what have I actually delivered?
Yeah.
And how should I respond to that?
So my epiphany, my big time epiphany about how to play the game was playing against this guy Steve Cornell. And Steve Cornell is NorCal legend, NorCal Hall of Famer. Played at UCLA, has been a perennial, senior player, and he hasn't played for a while. He's had some knee injury issues the last few years. But he and I used to play a lot at the Berkeley Tennis Club, both members. We actually played a lot of doubles together in the senior stuff. But we would play singles, and he is like the biggest definition of serve and volley. I mean, here's a guy who's ultra conservative off the court, but on the court, he's like, I'm the biggest risk taker of all time. And it just didn't really count. Anyway, but great serve and volley guy. And I was fortunate to be able to practice against a really good serve and volleyer. And my whole intention was when I was returning, I just wanted to get the ball down at his feet. I wanted him to have to volley up. And so I remember working with Mr. Stowe. We kind of worked on, because I was always kind of hacking my backhand, right? It was a real severe high to low. And so that made it tough to get it down to his feet. And if it didn't get down to his feet, it was just this nice little kind of firm floater. He's going, thank you. He's going, thank you.
That seems like an oxymoron.
A firm floater. Well, it just hung up. He didn't have to do a lot of stroke technique with it because it had a little bit of zip to it. So I remember working with Mr. Stowe, and he really started teaching me how to, with the return, how to kind of flatten the racket face against the ball. And just so that I could just sort of flatten it, not bunt it, but just kind of borrow his pace, his serve pace, and just flatten it, kind of rebound it back down at his feet.
Right.
So we worked on that, and eventually I got better and better at it. And then there would be a couple of times, Jeff, where I try to flatten it, but I get a hair out in front. And I'm thinking about the deuce court specifically, right? He's served to the deuce side, and I've got my backhand in the middle as right-handed player. And I'd flatten it a little bit early, and all of a sudden, it's unintentionally, man, that thing is going right up the line. And a couple of times I just stood there and looked, and he would kind of dive over there and get the volley and push it back to me. And here it is coming slowly at me. And I'm just waiting around going, oh, God, I can see out of peripheral. The ball's coming slowly. Steve's now getting back in the middle. And I'm going, now what am I going to do? And so what I realized was that anytime I unintentionally got a little bit out and early on that flat thing, and it went up, and I looked, and I wouldn't have to look at it. You could feel it. You could feel it coming off the racket, and you're going, oh boy, I didn't intend. And I would just, without even looking up to see, I just started moving in.
Right.
I just started moving in, and I would get about halfway between the baseline and the service line, and here'd be this ball. Wouldn't matter, forehand or backhand volley. He's still stuck over there. And I'm just going, wow, that's the easiest volley in the history of volleys. And that was my big epiphany about unintentional opportunities that we create for ourselves and to take advantage of them instantly with court positioning, which is
Right.
that's a part of learning how to quote unquote play the game. Because
Right.
look, I don't care who you are. How many times do you say to yourself, my intention here is to, I'm just going to play a ball right up the middle. And
Right.
and you're a hair late, and boom, it's screaming up the line. And you're going, God dang it. I mean, I've seen guys do this at the BTC.
Right.
Who shall
Right.
remain nameless. And they get down on themselves. You know?
Right.
And I go, David. Okay, well, so I guess I won't go with
There
the
you
last name.
go. Oops.
I go, David, you got to be kidding me, man. Do you actually think that every intention, that you can actually master the game to such a point that every intentional shot is going to go right to that target for the rest of your life? I said, this whole game is about taking advantage of unintentional opportunities. And that really means, can you move to a new core position where you didn't think you'd be going to, but now all of a sudden it's going
Right.
here, go.
Right.
So
Right. And, I mean, the big part of that, and there's obviously, more than one guy that does this. It's actually I think it's kind of prevalent in the game itself, depending on, the personality of the player, where every ball that's hit gets judged as black and white, as yes and no, good, bad.
That's right.
And the challenge with that is that you shift from being focused on the task at hand to judging, which means now you've shifted your mindset to the past.
Right.
And then you look and you see your ball land in and you kind of go, oh, I really squirreled. It was a real squirrely thing, and it's squibbing over there and it's spinning wildly, and you kind of like mope to the center of the court. Meanwhile, your opponent can't figure out what trajectory that ball's going to take off the ground, because he's thinking it's one thing, but the spin's going the other direction and it bounces away from him and it turns out to be a winner. And then you kind of mope over to okay, sorry.
Yeah.
It's like I'm looking at it going, I'll put my hand up, but listen, chest up, head up, I'm going, baby.
Yeah.
I'll take that all day long.
Of course.
So, getting over that fact of using that, using the judgment kind of lens to look through is such a colossal waste of time. It's such a colossal waste of emotional energy, and it takes you away from the task at hand. I have to execute my patterns. I'm trying to win this point here somehow, and I'm trying to do it by just executing my plan. And sometimes I have to be ready to receive a gift that I've either done or they've chunked it up and given me the easy volley or something. I mean, I don't apologize when the guy chunks up a ball to me and I'm at the net, and obviously he didn't mean to do that. I could hear it come off the frame.
Yeah, that's
I get it and I put it away. I don't apologize to him for taking advantage of his crappy shot. No.
Well, look, I mean, I think that, I will admit that I was sort of caught, especially when I was working with Mr. Stowe. And it's easy, I think, when you're working with a pro. And here's one of the problems if you've got a teaching pro, that they don't get senior tennis. They don't really understand what is reality in terms of strategies and tactics in both singles and doubles, and where they are grinding you through stroke technique over and over again. And when I worked with Mr. Stowe, there was a time when that's all we did. We really weren't working on anything other than stroke technique. And during that time, I wasn't learning more about how to, quote unquote, play the game, because I was so focused on am I doing this right? And so you got the gardener outside right now. Is he just coming by?
Yeah, they just mowed, they trimmed, and
okay, all right. Oh, well,
keep looking over there. Sorry,
I saw you looking over there. I'm going, let's see, it's Thursday, Moraga. Oh, okay, I know who that is. Yeah, okay. But So look, guys. I mean, look. I understand that we all do some technique work, but I think that we can overdo it, and then it gets in the way of learning the realities that most shots that we hit are not placed on a dime over there. And
Exactly.
and a lot of opportunities that we create are not taken advantage of because
Totally.
because we're so consumed with, like you said, with judging. How clean did I hit that thing? And so for me, once I realized playing against Steve that, oh, I see. The game is full of these unintentional opportunities,
Right.
and I need to take advantage of them court position wise.
Right.
I need to now shift from what I was trying to do, which meant that, and look, every time we have an intention of where we want to hit it, it's really two parts to that intention, right? Shot choice and where are we going to move to next on the court? Where's
Right.
the next best court position? Look, I don't know how many times I have, and I'm sure you have too as well, where you're put in a defensive position and all of a sudden you intend to do something and you look up and you go, oh, wow, I don't need to retreat. I need to come on in on this thing.
Right.
Something
Right.
happened.
Yeah, something happened, and part of it too is it's not just the ball that you deliver, but maybe your opponent makes an unexpected position choice that's different than what you normally expect out of the shot that you delivered. That's another aspect of it too. That are you in the present moment and not wasting any mental focus on that was good and that was bad.
Yeah, yeah.
And simply living in the moment, reality, and actually seeing what the heck is actually going on right at this moment.
How many times have you hit a shot? Let's say you've hit a cross-court forehand, and your intention was, I'm going middle quadrant cross-court forehand. You're somewhere in the rally, and your shot, and that's your shot choice, and your intention is to sidestep back to kind of get back into the middle of those two angles. And
Right.
the next thing you do is you look up, and all of a sudden you realize, God, my opponent anticipated I was going up the line. And
Right.
now all of a sudden I can see that they're just stretched out like crazy on a standard forehand cross-court rally ball. Well, are
Right.
you going to stand there and go, okay, it's okay, man, go ahead and take your time to recover? Or are you going, wow, thank you, I'm coming in?
I am like shot out of a cannon.
That's right. That's right.
The only thing missing is like a carnival helmet, the guy that shot out of the cannon, and like, here I come.
That's right. That's right. So, all right, I think we've kind of made our point today. Hey, listen, I want you to talk, Jeff, quickly, maybe you haven't totally finalized how you're going to do this logistically, but we were talking about yesterday about making your practice sets public.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's very few. I mean, I know 10 cap, the rating system, which I absolutely love, and there are other rating systems now. But
Yeah.
because the reason I loved it is because not only could you put in tournament matches, league matches, you could also put in practice sets as well. And
Right.
look, I think we all realize we play way more practice sets than we do
Without a
leagues or
doubt.
tournament matches. So we should be recording those, or should be at least recording them somewhere. And in terms of really having a great algorithm for being accurate with someone's current rating, singles and doubles. But I thought you came up with something great yesterday about guys, gals, and obviously you both have to agree to do this. But go ahead, Jeff. What was your thought?
Well, it's just, it's great when you got a little skin in the game, and so the thought was, you suggested, the winner gets to like put it up on a chalkboard in the tennis lounge or something. And I thought, well, let's
take it to
beef
another
it up
level
here a little bit. Yeah, let's take it to another level here
Yeah.
and have the loser have to post it on his page on Facebook. Just get up there and say, hey, I played Ralph tonight and gulp.
Yeah.
I lost 2 and 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll see you next week, Ralph. Same time.
Yeah, and look, I mean, not everyone's got a Facebook page, so I get that. That's cool. But I think the intention here is that we start to put, like Jeff just said, have some more skin in the game when we play practice sets. And I'm not saying you got to do it every time, because there might be some times when you really are truly working on something, and you want to use a practice set as kind of the practice arena, and that's fine. And so maybe,
but when
maybe
you
don't do it then.
Just like anything though, when you're like, you do it, I do it, players do this. As you start to edge in and get, as you approach a tournament, I know I do this when I'm approaching a national event, that within 3 weeks of that event, I'm starting to play way more sets, and I'm really starting to work on my competitiveness in that. So I am focused on competing, and going through my between point routines, and I'm focused on that aspect of the game. So, but there are times pre that I might be working on something specific that I don't want to be. I already don't care whether I win or lose, so It's kind of irrelevant. The skin I have in the game is actually the discipline of just doing what the two items that I'm working on that set. That's the skin I have in the game. The score doesn't matter, and I freely admit a lot of times I'll lose sets 6-0, 6-1, and it's okay because I know that what I've been working on, and so I just leave the rest of it off the table, and who cares?
All right, so here's the deal, guys. If you will do this, you and your opponent or opponents in doubles, let's say, if you got a Facebook page, here's what we want you to do. All of you guys agree, singles, both of you, doubles, all four of you agree that we're going to post it on someone's page, whoever it is.
Yeah, and whoever's got a page.
Whoever's got a page, and take a selfie right after the match. Or before.
Yep.
It doesn't matter, but take a selfie that you can post along with the results, and then if you will hashtag just gold ball hunting, just one word, gold ball hunting, hashtag gold ball hunting. That's all we need. And then just let us know, right? I mean, you can let me know through the What's the Right Shot Facebook group, or Jeff know over Jeff Jacklich at Facebook.
Yep.
We'll give you guys a shout out on an upcoming episode, a gold ball hunting episode. And maybe somewhere down the road, we might even get a little bit, whoever sort of has in the month of November, whoever's posted the most practice match sets, I think that we should reward them for doing that.
Something.
We'll figure out something. All right, guys. So look, free coaching call, free private 10, 12, 15-minute coaching call. 3 of us. It's free. And all you got to do to get on that call with me and Jeff is just go on over to goldballhunting.com, drop in your first name and email address, click the button, and then go ahead and schedule a time that works best for you. Online scheduling. Jeff, what do we want the fine folks to do right now?
Like us, share us, please subscribe, let us know what you think down below, iTunes and Stitcher, rate and review, goldballhunting.com. Spread the word. Share it with your friend. Share it with a doubles partner. Come on, everybody wants to get better.
Let's do it. In the meantime, guys, get out there wherever you are. Help someone else have a spectacular day. Jeff, we're doing this again tomorrow.
Can't wait.